Hello guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I know you guys have missed this version of Josh. The last couple of videos have been a little bit too gritty, just a little bit. But the message still stands. For those of you who didn't watch the video, it was more or less just like a whole epiphany kind of thing. Just trying to be more consistent and more selfish this new year, But speaking of selfish things, concerts, as you guys have already seen in the title of this video, I was looking for a way for me to kind of like slip that in. Pause. I was looking for a way to just kind of like put that into the intro, but I'm not good at this shit. I don't even write the scripts for these videos. I legit just speak. And whichever thing sounds good, it goes in. Sometimes I've recorded like 20-minute long videos, but just because I don't like a specific part, even though I know I can edit that part out, I don't do anything to it. I just leave it there. And I have to record a whole new video. Eventually, I'm still gonna need scripts for these things, but so far I've been doing pretty okay. I've been doing great, I've been doing fantastic. Maybe eventually down the line I'll get like a script, but to be quite honest, for now I'm not really interested in doing anything like that. But anyways, all of that aside, let's just have another sit down and talk. It's the new year, everything is new, plus the gym was packed and I was not about to start wasting my time in there. To be quite honest, I'm really not about to start wasting time. Maybe I'm gonna start with calisthenics again, maybe, maybe less bodybuilding, more calisthenics this year. But that's besides the point, This video is basically just to narrate the entire story of how I went to my first concert ever. My first concert ever was actually last year. To some people, it's like, oh, that can't be true. I was very sheltered growing up as a child, to be quite honest. Just so you guys, if you guys don't know this, I didn't really have opportunities to do specific things. Another time here, I'm going to do everything in my power, every last thing in my power to do things that make me happy. You know that song? What's the name of that song? I'm a bad boy now. I'll tattoo my body. Yes, that is exactly what the fuck. Probably. I'll put exactly that. But going to a concert for me was one of like the major things that I really wanted to do growing up. When you see specific artists, or even like just documentaries, I was not really into documentaries. But just like animated shows, the way they make concerts seem so amazing and crazy. Everybody's having a good time. You're happy. Nothing is going wrong. It's a good time just for like the music. And honestly, well, I've actually been insane to go to concerts during the like pre-pandemic times. Ever since pandemic happened, things have been different. People can't really place their like finger on it, but like things have been going downhill. Same thing, a lot of people might say the quality of music has gone down. That's honestly depending on what you listen to. Everybody's a little bit different. But for me, I normally stick to like Afrobeats, indie rock, indie pop, Midwest emo, hip hop and rap, more or less could be two different things. R&B, now I'm trying to like branch out to a little bit of different things. I remember when I was younger, I was really interested in like hyperpop. For some odd reason, for like a full year, I was just interested in hyperpop. And that was during the time peak levels of like Brooklyn. Hey, Jesus. The Nigerian accent is coming out. Anyways, during Brooklyn blood pop, the psycho days, during 100 Gex days, back when they were popping off, Money Machine, horse racer, back in those days, like 2021, 2021, that was when I was actively interested in it. That was when I was actively like listening to all like hyper pop. That was my jam, during the Ash Nickel times. Honestly, you guys get the gist of the entire thing I'm trying to say. But eventually my taste, I always try and challenge myself to always change my taste every year. So it gives me something to look forward to. Let's say a couple of years down, I just want to revisit the decade. I will remember how I felt during that time. But Afrobeat is like a given, to be quite honest. Not really a given, but for me, I really enjoy my generation of Afrobeat artists. I think people like Maria Starr, people like even though Davido and Wizkid are not really my generation, but more of like the reigning people now. People like Odumodu. Hey, Jesus Christ. Odumodu Black, bruh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Black Bones, this is gonna be taken out of context. I've been here for so long, my tongue is shifting. Oh my goodness. But anyways, for me, the major person that I've really been into this past couple of years has been Rema, And funny enough, originally when he first came out, I think I was part of the group of people who just wanted to be like, oh no, this guy is not anything. This kind of like, oh, I'm against the grain kind of people. I was like that, I liked the music, but it wasn't really what I was into at that time, so I was shitting on it for no apparent reason. But now, I'm like, damn, this nigga got bars. I don't know what to tell y'all niggas, but like, he got bars, So, to add on to that, he was actually the first person who was like, let me go for this concert. And luckily for me, I was like it was so crazy how everything happened, because I remember in 2024, I was like, oh, concerts are not really my thing, because I remember at that time, Burna Boy was in Edmonton at that specific time when this thought process was happening. So for me, it was like, oh, even though I could go, I couldn't. I had work. It was this kind of thing. I was like, you know what? If any artist is gonna come in, it's gonna be Rema. I'm gonna pay for the most expensive tickets, and I'm gonna head out there and have the blast of my life. And turns out in 2025, or like late 2024, Rema released his or is he high? I would say he is, bro. His album, and then he announced the tour. Then when I looked at the tour, Edmonton was part of like that list. You guys can really know. You guys already know where this is going. I spent money. For me, I normally don't buy a lot of stuff for myself. All of this equipment that I'm using, like legit, is just the camera that is mine and the laptop, like freaking microphone and the thing. It's not mine, But like, I'm the kind of person where at this point in my life, or at that point in my life, I was very kind of like tight-fisted with money. Like, I remember the most expensive amount of shoes, the most expensive amount of money I spent on shoes during this time was $100. And at that time I said, it's no more shoes for me. And keep in mind, this was winter. This was right before winter. And winters in Edmonton, they are not pleasant. I legit bought what they call those things, the Nike Blazers, because I really wanted it. I really wanted those, so I bought the Nike Blazers, and yeah, basically I used them into the ground. Now they're no longer here. Spent $100 on those things. They're somewhere. They're not here with me now any longer. That's just unfortunate. But the thing was this kind of thing where I saw the price of the money, and at that point in time, I had enough money for like savings and things like that. So for me, it wasn't even really like a thing. I was like, should I buy this? Should I not buy it? You can kind of like see the way my mental was at this point in time. Even though I knew I could afford it, I didn't want to buy it. And that's like a habit that I'm happy that I eventually broke out of. It's still there, But keep in mind, imagine, let's say, okay, yeah, not that I'm saying that I had like a shit ton of money, but let me just use like an estimate, Let's say you had like $10,000 and the thing that you wanted to go for was just like $10. And you're now thinking, oh, should I do it? Yeah, like it shouldn't be this kind of thing where like if you really are into this thing and you want to get it done, like, oh yes, I want to go for this thing, or like, oh, you really enjoy this particular thing, or you really like this specific thing, it's $10. And the $10 isn't really gonna do anything to you. But in your mind it's like, oh, I'm gonna keep this $10. I can't spend this $10 at all. Can you now see how, like, that doesn't even make any sense, you know? And it's not like as far as saving for anything in particular. I just had the money, you know. It was a good couple of weeks with like commission and at work, you know. And I had money, you know. I was working and I had the money, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is chill, you know. So I just ended up buying it, and I was like, shit, fuck it, might as well just get that premium package. And I got the premium package, you know. I was so excited. It was in April, which was so close to my birthday. I think it was on the 17th, and my birthday is on the 20th. So I was like, yo, I just bought it, you know. I bought it. In my mind, I was like, I know I'm probably not gonna see anybody in kind of like my friend group, which is kind of dumb of me, because when I ended up going, I met a lot of different people. But like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna see anybody, and I went by myself. You know, you never want to go to specific activities by yourself, except except you're going to like a chill kind of like vibe spot, and you don't really want to see people, or you're going to see people, but you just want to mingle with people. Then it is like, okay, it's cool to go by yourself. But if you're going to a concert, depending on your, how will I put it, your personality, it could either be good or it could be bad. I am this kind of person where I am very shy. I wouldn't really say shy, to be quite honest. This kind of thing, until when we are like, okay, yes, it's settled, like, yo, friends are friends. That is when I'm gonna actually start showing like the true, real side of me. But if we're just like regular folk, you probably won't even see like 20% of my actual personality. You know, everything is kind of like packaged just to be palatable to people. I know, big words, you guys should know this by now. But anyways, at this point in time, I bought the tickets, you know. I took a day off work because I was like, yeah, I'm going for this shit. I won't give a freak at all, bro. I'm going for this thing. I bought the tickets and I actually ended up going. It was actually a pretty fun deal, you know. It was pretty fun, it was nice. But that if I said it was pretty fun, it doesn't add context to this entire situation. So even though I'm in Nigeria, I forgot the one rule about Nigerians. Nigerians will not listen to time. It's African time they will use, you know. This thing was scheduled for 7 p.m. It was supposed to be 7 p.m., you know, 7 p.m. So yeah, the concert was supposed to start at 7 p.m. You know, I came in, I was like, you know what, let me just go in so I can have a cool space. And this is me, yeah. I paid for the premium thing. In my mind, I was expecting like, oh, they finna give us t-shirts, they finna give us like goodie bags or like mementos, you know, for like the freaking thing. And I walked in, you know, I came up to, and this is by no means to like bash Rema or anything, to be quite honest, you know. But at the end of this shit, y'all will understand, or at least people who went for that concert at that time will resonate exactly with me, to be quite honest. So I came in, you know, I was like, you know, okay, they basically separated us. They were like, oh, it's a premium, okay, cool. I got my wristband. I was like, yeah, this is the shit, you know. Finna go into a spot and just chill. And keep in mind, I was dressed up, I was looking fresh, you know, I was looking cool as hell. Yeah. There's gonna be like a video of that, of what I wore, or at least like a picture of what I wore that I'm gonna post here as well. So I came up to this thing. I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. I went in. It was just like kind of like an auditorium. It was like a wide space. Then like the stage at like the end, you know. So concert hadn't started yet, and I don't know a lot about like concerts. I just expected I was gonna see Rema and he was gonna be there for 3 hours, singing all of his greatest hits. You know, that was what I was expecting. You know, but it turns out that's not what happened. So I'm here, I'm basically sitting down at the back in like the bleachers area where there's like seats. Keep in mind, the seats are not just like regular bleachers. It's just like at the far end of the hall. They're just those like bleacher chairs. So I'm sitting on the bleachers. You know, you guys know all of those bleacher chairs where you can kind of like push to the back and they kind of blend in with the wall, the way you want to pull them out. Those ones, by basketball game bleachers and things like that. I'm sitting there, chilling. I got myself a drink. It was like 2 shots of vodka or some shit. I can't remember what it was. All I know is that it's had alcohol inside. And I was like, you know what? I need this alcohol for strength. I ain't doing nobody here, and I need that extra courage. I drank it. I was like, okay, this is cool. Chilled, stayed for a bit. Then once it was 7, there was now noise coming from the stage. I said, you know what? Okay, cool, gang. I'ma head over to the stage and we're finna see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. I went over there, and at first I was kind of confused because I was like, oh, what is with the premium package? I didn't know what that was. And I went over to the side where there was this guy was just there working. I was like, yo, hey, I have a question. I have the premium package. They gave me a wristband. I don't know what this is for. Do you know what it is? It was not like, oh, you really don't get anything with it. It's more or less for a platform so you can see the stage. Huh? A platform? A platform? So basically this platform is at the back. Keep in mind, the reason why I brought up the bleachers, it was literally, it was in the same area as the bleachers, and at the far end, at the other side of the auditorium, that's where the stage was. So I'm going to a concert, I want to see Rema. So you're telling me that I paid $140 something. So some of you is like, oh, it's just 100 something 40. No, fuck you. I worked for that money. I paid that amount just for me to be yelling from the back end. I was like, hell nah, okay, cool. I went in there. We're basically there chilling. I met a lot of my friends, I was so happy. It was one girl, I was like, you know what? I don't need this bracelet. The main party is in front. I don't need to be in the back. I really don't need to be in the back. That's what I did. I took out that bracelet and I stayed there. I was expecting the concert to start. There was a nigga who basically came up to the front. He was singing. There's always opening acts. The guy was actually pretty good. He was an original artist that is based in Mountain. For the life of me, I can't remember his name, to be quite honest. I was mainly just focused on Rema. I'm not even gonna lie up front about it. That was what was happening. So we stayed. I was like, oh, after the guy's performance, I was like, oh, now Rema is gonna come out. It took an hour for the guy's performance, I said, okay, now Rema is coming out. Still nothing. 2 hours went by. Still nothing. This guy was the DJ was just playing music. Everyone was having a good time. 2 hours went by. This is 9 p.m. at this point. Keep in mind, it was supposed to start at 7 p.m. Now it's 9. Ain't nothing happening. It's yo, what the fuck? 10 p.m. came around. That's when Rema came out. Bro was screaming. I was like, I had a fun time. I was enjoying myself. I was having so much fun. 30 minutes went by. 45 minutes went by. The guy said he's done. He didn't even say he's done. He legit just once he reached the crescendo of his concert, the highest point of the peak, he now said, okay, cool. He went to the back. I was expecting he was going to come back out because he did that originally. Then he changed the song. Nothing. They said, okay, yeah, the party's over. I said, yo, what? What? I was so pissed. I was so mad. I was so mad. I was like, you know what? Even though I wasted, and to me, at that point in time, genuinely really was a waste because I was expecting so much more and I don't give a fuck. It's yo, people pay money for this shit and you only stay for 45 minutes and you dip. That's insane. Maybe it's just because it's Edmonton. Maybe it's just because of it, but still, niggas are paying money for these things. People got the hoochie out for this and you just stay for 45 minutes. That was just messed up. Then the DJ that started playing music, and you know me, I love me a good time. I love me a good time. I love me a good time. I'm not finna waste no time on nobody. Nobody. I had the best dance of my life that night, and it was amazing. That was just one of the nights where, okay, yes, I was going like actually insane, but I had fun. It was a nice time. I don't regret it. It was kind of weird, and I'm pretty sure my face is in a lot of people's phones, but just crazy, you know. But yeah, that was just like a story of one of my first ever concerts. And I hope this year is going to be better, because I basically said for myself I'm going to be out for 5 different concerts this year, depending on like the artists, if I really fuck with them. But like genuinely, that experience really just soured the taste of concerts for me. But I'm in Toronto now, so it's a better city and there's more respect attached to its name. So they better not just play on my name. I'm spending the money for this shit. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Just explaining my story and how I felt during that time. But I hope you guys will be here when I talk about the next concert I'm gonna be at. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of the year. And I'll talk to you guys later.